What is the biggest mistake you've made in business? This is a good one.
We are so close to 15,000 subscribers. When we get to that, I will answer whatever questions you want to send my way.
I owe you and ask me anything, and I'm going to deliver right now. What's the most valuable advice you've received? It's a game changer. Let people see you. I'm going to go rapid fire. How can I be a guest on this podcast? How do you continue to focus on scaling when you have limited resources? I want to get 1,000 leads a month as you suggested. What is your favorite strategy? My favorite strategy is the one. Okay? I want to quit my 9-to-5, but don't have the balls. Will I ever? There's some good, juicy questions in here. Can we hear more about your ranch and what you've done since selling it? Here's the bottom line, my friend.
You want to make more money? You are in the right place. Welcome to the Hello 7 podcast. That's 7 as in 7 figures. I'm your host, Rachel Rodgers.
Hello. Welcome back to the Hello 7 podcast. I am delighted that you are here. And today I'm doing something very special. I'm going to be answering all of your questions. So y'all have sent in questions for an Ask Me Anything. A couple of episodes ago, I asked you to please subscribe to this channel. We want to grow this channel. We want to make this Hello 7 podcast a huge success. And so I asked you to subscribe. And I told you that when we hit 15,000 subscribers, I would do an Ask Me Anything. Well, we blew past 15,000 subscribers. We're now at 22,000 subscribers approximately. And I'm really excited. We're marching forward. My goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers by December 31st. Okay. 100,000 subscribers by December 31st. Do you think I can do it? I think I can, especially if all of you tell all your friends to come up in here, subscribe, check it out, get their questions answered, come hang out with us, learn about business, learn about growing your income. Let's do it together. Okay. All right. So I owe you an Ask Me Anything, and I'm going to deliver right now. So I have your questions. I'm going to go rapid fire. Okay. And there's some good, juicy questions in here on all kinds of topics. So I'm so excited to dig in. All right. So let's do it. Let's go for it. Time for our first question. So the first question is, what are impactful leadership skills any new leader should cultivate? Okay, I'm going to tell you just one juicy, extremely important leadership skill that will serve you incredibly well. And that is what is missing from most people's leadership and is why there's so much challenges with managing a team. Okay, so my number one leadership skill that you need to follow is be honest. Okay, be honest. I think we have a very easy time of being honest with a team member or the people who are following us when things are going great and when they are doing an incredible job. Okay. We have a hard time being honest when they're doing a terrible job or they're making mistakes. We don't tell them. We keep it to ourselves and we just get pissed off inside. And then what happens? They continue to make those mistakes because no one told them that that's not how it's supposed to be done. So being honest as soon as you possibly can is going to serve you so incredibly well. So if you have a team, if you have people you are leading, be extremely honest with them. Let them know when they're doing a fantastic job, and then also pull them aside when they're not doing a fantastic job and tell them where they need to improve. If you just do this, this will serve you so incredibly well. You will work with your team members well. I think people expect to hire someone and that they just instantly do the job perfectly. And it is not going to happen. Okay. It is not going to happen without training, without communication, without feedback, honest feedback, even if they're not doing a good job. Most people are smart and capable and emotionally stable, and they can handle being told that they didn't do a good job. And especially if you couch it with, here are the ways to improve. Okay. Now, if you just are honest and also kind, that's going to be the key. And then, of course, clear, right? So honesty, being kind always. Like I have literally never in my life yelled at a team member. I do not, I don't do that, right? I don't yell at people. I don't get nasty with people. I don't insult people, like literally never. And honestly, I don't do it with a team, but I don't do it with literally anyone. Okay. So you gonna really have to deserve it. Okay. To take me there. So being kind is key, right? Like just always, even when they've done a terrible job, remembering that they don't come to work wanting to do a bad job. They come to work wanting to win and wanting to serve you well. And so if you remember that, then you just communicate with them and say, okay, here's what needs to improve. And then you can trust that that improvement is going to happen. Okay. So honesty, being kind, and then also being clear. Making sure that you're documenting a job description for them, making sure you're documenting what is the process for doing the things that you're asking them to do. If you don't walk them through it, you cannot expect them to get the result that you're looking for. And then being honest about what you expect. If you have tight deadlines, communicate the tight deadlines right up front, right? If you want to see exceptional results, tell them exactly what you want to see and tell them how you want them to get there, right? What strategies are you communicating to them that they can execute to get you that result? All right. People want to win at work and you just have to be a partner with them and help them to win. Okay. But really honesty is number one. And that to me is what I think is the biggest problem. And a book you can read for more on this, go check out Radical Candor. It's an excellent book about radical candor, being extremely honest so that everyone is clear and everyone can get the job done. Okay. It'll actually improve all of your relationships. Radical candor. Okay. Wrapped in kindness though. There's no need to be mean. All right. Moving on to the next question. I don't know how fast I'm going. I feel like I'm not going fast enough. But the next question, how can I be a guest on this podcast? Okay. I know a lot of you sent in this question. You want to know how you can be a guest on the Hello 7 podcast. Maybe you want to know how you can be coached by me. So we have a form that we use and you can fill out that form and apply to be coached by me. Just so you know, right now I'm only coaching people in person. So you'd have to travel to wherever I'm filming, in most cases, New York City, but sometimes in other cities. Okay. And then I would coach you and you'd be on the podcast in person. The other requirement is you got to be willing to be vulnerable, right? It's, you got to be willing to share and be vulnerable so that I can actually authentically coach you and really help you. If you're hiding things or you don't want people to know that like you don't know how to figure this one thing out, then it's not going to be a very successful coaching session, So anyway, you can apply and we do actually go with our clients first. So we have mostly been just talking to current clients, past clients, and inviting them to be coached on the podcast. Like they've raised their hand. And so then we invite them to be on the show. So if you want to become a client, you'll have a better chance of being coached on the show. And just so you know, there's a really low cost way for you to become a client. You can join the club. It's $97 a month, hang out in there. And I'm regularly saying, hey, I'm going to be filming in Atlanta in 2 weeks. Who wants to be coached? And people raise their hands and I choose a few. So that's often how we're doing it. But we do have a public form as well. So if you want to apply, you can. You'll just have a better chance of making an appearance if you are a client. And the reason I'm doing that is just, it's a perk of clients, right? Like they're a client, they've made the commitment to work with me. And so I give them this extra perk in most cases. But there are people who have been on the podcast who are not current clients. So it's possible. Okay. Just letting you know. The next question is, what is the most valuable advice you've received on your path to entrepreneurial success? The best piece of advice I've ever gotten actually didn't come from a person. It was like a download from on high. Okay. It was a download and it just unlocked a next level for me. And I think it will do the same for you. Okay. So here is the download from God, from the universe, whatever you believe in, that came to me. And it's going to sound so simple and silly, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Here is the advice. Let people see you. Let people see you. That is the best business advice I have ever received. Okay? Because if you allow people to see you, you allow connection to happen. And connection is always what precedes cash. No one's giving you money if they don't have a connection to you. The reason why we buy Chanel or we buy Lululemon or we buy Apple products or we buy whatever it is that we buy, Delta flights, or, the reason why we use an Amex credit card, the reason why we use these things or associate with these brands is because they resonate with us. We feel a connection to them. We feel seen by them, right? We feel aligned with them in some way. And that is why we buy those products. And it's the same for you, right? As an entrepreneur and as a business owner, all you have to do is connect. It is much harder for a large company, a large scale brand run by thousands of people to connect with a human than it is for you, a human, right? Like as a new entrepreneur, you're an actual human. So all you have to do is actually connect, talk to people, ask them, right? Like answer questions like I'm doing right now. Like what can you do to create that connection with people? So the more you can do that and the more that you can allow yourself to be seen, allow people to know you, allow people to know your values, allow people to know your story, allow people to see your face, to see you on video without obsessing over what you look like, but being more focused on the connection, right? Like that is going to be key. So if you want to make more money, you got to connect. And it's not about extrovert, introvert, or how you do it. You don't have to be on a stage. You don't have to do big fancy things. It's just about talking to people and connecting with people and helping people to feel seen and showing people how you can help them. That's really all it is. If you can do that, you will make a lot of money. The next question is, can we hear more about your ranch and what you've done since selling it? Okay. I'm not going to deep dive on this because part 2 of that episode is coming soon. So I'm going to tell you more about what I did after the ranch and answer this question in a later episode. But I will say your interest, like that episode did so well and got so much attention. I met people on the street who were like, oh my God, I watched you. You're the one with the ranch. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So it did so well that we're going to do a part 2. So if you want to send in more questions about the ranch, I'm happy to answer them. If you want to buy your own ranch, I'm happy to talk to you about that. And I may also do a future episode about my beach house. Okay. Which is, it's an investment property, and I can tell you more about how I'm doing that, why I'm doing that, and what the strategy is there, because it seems like y'all are very interested in real estate, property, and maybe even just these relatable stories, right? So I'm happy to share more about what I'm doing, the different strategies, because of course I'm a business owner and that's part of it, but there's a lot of different income streams at this point. And I'm happy to share all of them with you and share the strategy behind it. And honestly, exactly what I just said is what I do. I just follow my interests. I follow my own interests and I do things where I can capitalize on my own natural skill set, right? I don't try to do things like, you don't see me starting a technology business or like a video recording business. You know why? Because I suck at those things. Okay. This is not my genius. So I stay in my lane and in the lane of my personality and my talents, and think about how can I use these talents to increase income, to add value to the world, all of those things. Okay. So anyway, part 2 of the ranch episode is coming soon. So stay tuned. ROI, the Millionaire Summit, is back for the 3rd time. It's happening in January 2025 for entrepreneurs that are looking to grow a 7-figure business and beyond. We'll have amazing speakers, incredible networking, lots of connection, community, and fun, and actionable steps that you can take to get a return on your investment in this amazing event. It's all happening January 15th through the 17th in Orange County, California, right outside of LA. So easy to fly to. And what's really special about this year is that we are including luxury accommodations with your ticket. That's right, you don't have to pay an extra fee for a hotel room. It's all included in your ticket. But these rooms will sell out and tickets are going fast. And the price goes up every week. So you will be rewarded for taking quick action. So make sure you go to hello7.co/ROI to get your ticket now. So this question is, I know you built your business on your network. If you had it to do over and had a weak network, how would you have gone about cold outreach? Okay. So first of all, do not assume that you have a weak network. How do you know that? I would test this first. So if you're assuming that you don't have a network of people that you already know in your real life, this is not about having a mailing list or having followers on Instagram. This is about your school teachers, your classmates, your former coworkers, your friends, your neighbors, your aunties, your uncles, your parents' friends, right? Like it's about everyone who knows that you as a human exist. Okay. And everyone that you are friends with, or you have their phone number, or they have your phone number, or you have their email, or you can knock on their door or whatever, right? So like the people in your network, I would not assume that it is a weak network, right? You could have a friend who's a babysitter and you feel like, oh, she's not well connected. She's a babysitter. Oh yeah. Well, maybe she babysits for, the president of Comcast. You know what I mean? And she can get you a meeting with that person. So you just really don't know. Do not make assumptions about people's status in life, about what they do for a living, about who they know. Just never do that. You really never know. So don't judge people in that way, and instead test it. So put your offer out there, put your business out there, and ask them to buy the thing or share it. And you'd be surprised how many potential clients can come to you. And you don't necessarily have to have a fancy network, right? I have friends that I grew up with that have connections that I've never had, right? That know celebrities because of the type of work that they've done. And it's not necessarily always what's considered fancy work or a fancy job, right? That doesn't mean they're not well connected. So never, ever assume that you know how complex or how much reach a person has. You just don't. So always test your own network first. But to answer your question, if you did that and now you're like, okay, what else can I do? You're looking for another way to do some cold outreach and to get your business in front of people. I would think about who my ideal client is. I would make a list of them. So for me, like when my first business was a law practice. And so what I would have done was made a list of every small business in my area, at least 100 of them, if not more. And I would have sent an email to every single one of them, offering my services, offering to help them. And then I would follow that email up with a physical something. So like maybe a postcard or a flyer or something that I could drop off to their office or mail to them. And then I would follow it up with a phone call or an in-person visit. Okay. So that's what I would do, a 3-part. And the reason why I would do it that way is because an email is like a soft touch. It's the lowest lift. So just get the email out and see if you get a response. If you don't get a response and you send a postcard, okay, now you've seen my name twice, right? You know who I am, hopefully. So it's like a physical card is harder to ignore than an email. And so like, at least they would have seen it, right? And usually you want to do something on that postcard that's eye-catching, maybe a headline or something that speaks to their pain point. So they're like, it captures their interest and it makes them want to read it. And then the third thing is follow it up with a phone call and ask them if they would be interested in working together, or if you could offer some, free consultation or some other beneficial thing to them as a way, just a show of good faith. Doesn't need to be a taxing thing. Definitely don't do a bunch of work for free. But if you have a way to offer them like a little sampler, right? Like a free trial, if you will, so that they can experience your product or service in a small way. And then they might be interested in working with you. That's what I would do. And I have good friends and clients who have done this exact thing, created a list. My best friend, Robert Hartwell, who's been on the podcast, he hired someone from Fiverr. And they created a list of every single dance studio within like a 30-mile radius of where he was going to be teaching a dance workshop. That was his offer. And he sent a flyer and emails and made phone calls to every single one of those dance studios. And that is how he got people at his workshops in the beginning. So it's just about doing the footwork, right? You can't be afraid to do the footwork sometimes. How do you continue to focus on scaling when you have a limited resources? Okay, great. So you're talking about scaling a business with limited resources. Here's the thing that you have to decide. What are you actually scaling? Right? When you're scaling a business, are you talking about are you scaling your team and growing your team? And why are you doing that? Are you trying to increase the number of people in your offers? Right? Like what is the metric or what is the measurement that you are judging your scaling against? Right? How are you measuring the scaling that you're doing? I think the word scaling is really overused. I mean, what we're really talking about here is business growth, but you need a strategy and you need to be specific. Okay. So here is my recommended strategy for you. If you want to scale your business and you don't have a lot of extra income, that is what you need to scale, the income part. Okay. So what I would focus on is profitability. How can you scale your profitability? Not just your revenue, because if you scale your revenue and also scale your expenses with it, right, your profitability will either stay the same or it could even go down. if you overscale your expenses, right? Like overgrowing your team and not having enough revenue to support that team, for example, right? Or not having enough new clients or staying clients to support that. So I highly recommend that you focus on profitability as your measurement for scaling to start, because that's going to create more profits for you to reinvest in the business should you wish to continue to scale the company. Okay. So profitability is key. And then the other thing that you want to do, which actually could cost you nothing, but could create so much more profitability and increase your efficiency, is systems. Okay. Yes. Boring, not sexy systems. That is what grows businesses. Okay. Systems make us efficient. Every time you do anything in your business, there should be a system written down. If you're ever going to do that one thing again, right? So like even this podcast, there are all kinds of systems in the background operating to make sure that this podcast happens. Okay. Everything that's happening in my business has a system. And if it doesn't, it will soon. Okay. So systems are key. And all that means is literally writing down the step-by-step process for how do you get that result, right? Here's why that's so great. Because one, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. If, client inquiries come in, and you need to respond to those client inquiries, and you always respond to the same and offer them a free consultation or something like that, whatever your process is, that written template should be written down somewhere, and it should be something so simple to just pop into the whatever you're sending the email through, so that you never have to write it again. You never have to think about it again. All you're doing is popping in a name and you're done, right? That's one example. If there's, if you're going to have to schedule them, having a scheduling link, right? These are, I'm giving you rudimentary examples to show you that systems is key. Okay. I want you to systematize your business. And that is actually how you can scale it. Systematizing is scaling, because the more you use processes and systems to do things, the more efficient you become, the faster it is to get things done. And because of that, you have more capacity to serve more clients. That increased capacity, you also have increased capacity to do more marketing, right? All of those things. And especially if you can systematize your marketing so that you can bang it out faster and have more marketing going out, you're going to see more clients coming in, and that's going to increase your profitability. So if I were you, I would focus on, okay, what do we need to do to be more profitable? And then I would say, okay, how can we build systems? And start with, what are the things that like we do all the time that we don't have a system for? What's taking up too much of our time? What feels cumbersome? What could we clean up and systematize and make it fast, easy, streamlined, right? Like I want the things that are so core and crucial to my business to feel easy. There was a time at Hello 7 where if we did a webinar, it just felt like a huge lift for the whole team. And I was like, systematize the hell out of this system and this mofo so that when we do a webinar, it's like, eating lunch, right? Like it's like blowing our nose. Like it's so simple and easy. And now at Hello 7, when we do a webinar, it is bang, 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 because we have literally a huge, incredible playbook, right? That our team uses to execute the webinar. And it's just easy. It's not a mystery. And by the way, it allows every team member involved to win, right? Because they know, here's the playbook. Here's exactly what I need to do to execute this successfully. So it's going to be easy, right? So focus on systems. I know it's boring. I know it's not exciting, but trust me, it's what you want to do. So there is a great book on systems by Sam Carpenter called Work the System. I read this years ago in my law practice. And I'm telling you, that book changed my life, and it changed how I see business. Systems is crucial. So go check out that book, Work the System, if this is what you need to work on. What is the step one for anyone looking to build a business? Okay. I talk about this in my book, We Should All Be Millionaires. It's right here. Okay. I talk about this in this book, We Should All Be Millionaires. But the first step that you want to take when you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, growing a business, starting a business, is to do a self-assessment. That is the first thing that I want you to do. Okay. I want you to go online, find, strengths finders, take the Colby assessment, take the DISC test. You can do the Myers-Briggs, right? I want you to deep dive on you. When you are just starting out, you don't have any money, you don't have any knowledge, right? You don't have any, network. But what you do have is you. You are the asset. You have natural talents, natural skills, natural affinity to things. And that is what you need to assess so that you can figure out how you can take this asset of you and generate more capital with it, right? Extract resources from this asset. So the way that you do that is with a self-assessment, right? And so when you do those assessments, it's really a way for you to see yourself and to understand, like, how do you like to work? What are you naturally good at? What kinds of jobs or roles would be good for you? And those are the kinds of businesses I want you to start. I don't want you to start a business that is all about whatever is trending right now, right? Because like if I started a business on AI, like kill me now. AI is so cool and I'm using it a ton in my business and I love the tools, but it's not something that I want to become an expert on. You know, I'm not interested enough in it. So that means I wouldn't do it long enough or consistent enough to make money from it. So if you can really do a self-assessment, really learn about yourself and how you can add value to the world. Once you're clear on that, then your next step is create offers and then go get those offers out into the world. That's it. That's how you get started. Next, moving right along. Okay. I want to quit my 9 to 5, but don't have the balls. Will I ever? How can I get over this? Here's the bottom line, my friend. If you want to quit your job and it's just a matter of getting up the courage to do it, you just have to want to quit and want this new life that you want for yourself more than you are afraid. Really, that is the trick. So the best way you can do this is just get clear and start immersing yourself in that world. Okay. So start getting clear on what do I actually want? What is my lifestyle going to be like when I quit my job and start as an entrepreneur? What's going to be possible? What kinds of work am I going to get to do? Who am I going to get to work with, right? What's going to be fun about it? And also what's going to be challenging about it? And what specifically is scaring me? And how can I mitigate those circumstances so that I'm not as afraid? So if you're really afraid about the money, then you map out how you would cover your bills if it takes 6 months for your business to be able to cover your bills for you, or if it takes a year or longer. So that's what you got to do to kind of figure that out. And here's my other advice, like get into community with people who are already doing this. So I mentioned the club. That's a great place to join. We have a lot of people who have full-time jobs and are building side hustles in our community. So you could join the club. You could join other communities. There are plenty of free groups and free communities online. Get yourself around other entrepreneurs, see what they're doing, see what success they're having. That's what's going to start to give you the courage when you start to see people doing it, realize that it's real, that it's not a pipe dream, and it's going to create more possibility for you. But at the end of the day, you just have to decide that you want it and go for it. You know, there's a certain point at which no one else can do the jump for you. You are just going to have to decide, I'm ready to jump and go. This next question cracks me up. The question is, how do you deal with people who undervalue you as a woman of color or just a woman in business? Here's my answer. I don't deal with them. I don't deal with people who undervalue me. I do not allow that to happen. So I literally just don't engage. Block, do not engage. Okay? You have to teach people how to treat you. Okay. Once you teach people how to treat you, they are going to comply or there's going to be consequences, right? The consequences of breaking that boundary with you. And the consequence for me is you don't get to be in my life if you undervalue me and if you treat me like I'm not good enough. I don't think so, honey. So if you are attracting people into your life or you have situations in your life where people are undervaluing you, honestly, it's probably because you are undervaluing you. Right? You are undervaluing yourself and therefore you're attracting that kind of energy into your life. Right? And so start with deciding that you are worthy, right? Start with trusting yourself more. Start with valuing your own ideas, right? And valuing what you want to do, your own desires. Treat yourself well and trust yourself and value yourself. And then you are going to only attract people who value you as well. Okay. Because I have to tell you, I can't even remember the last time I've dealt with someone who doesn't value me. And if I do, I put a boundary in place. Done. I don't have to hate the person. I don't need to cuss them out. There doesn't need to be any drama, but I just don't engage with that person anymore. I wish them well, but you don't get to be in my world and treat me like garbage. Okay. It's just not happening. It's just not a thing. Okay. Look at us. We're halfway through. I'm quite proud of myself. All right. Next question. What is the biggest mistake you've made in business? This is a good one. I really had to think about this one. And I would say the biggest mistake that I've made in business is definitely promoting people before they were ready. That has been like my Achilles heel, truly. I've made this mistake multiple times and I've lost lots of team members because of it. Because someone does a good job, I see their talent, I see them doing a good job, and they do it for a little while, and I'm proud of them and I'm happy with their work, and then I promote them. And just because they were doing this job really well does not mean that when they're promoted and their job changes a bit and they get more responsibility, that they're going to be able to do this job really well. And I have discovered many times that that promotion, they get to, so I had a great employee doing a great job. I promote them. Okay. Then they start doing this new job. They get a pay bump, right? And they're not doing a good job because they got promoted too fast and they were not ready for it. And then what happens is I'm giving them feedback. I'm telling them what they need to do to improve. And usually they quit because they couldn't handle the pressure. It was too stressful. They would blame me, they would get angry, whatever. Any number of things have happened where they just could not do that job well yet because they weren't ready for it yet. I should have let them stay in this job longer. Okay. And I think like the bleeding heart in me and the desire to just serve and help, when I see someone winning, I'm like, I want to give them a raise. I want to give them the next promotion. I want to see them advance. Not everybody wants that, first of all. Until you put it in front of them. And now, of course, it's hard to go back. Once you promote someone, the chances of them being willing to go back down to their previous role, they see it as a demotion and they're not going to do that. So most likely they're just going to go out the door. And so I've lost a lot of team members that way, unfortunately. And it was my fault. I shouldn't have promoted them so quickly. I should have let them continue to do the job they were doing and started to train them slowly over time. So now we do give promotions at Hello 7, but it is slow. Okay. And when I say slow, it's just like you got to do the job for at least a year before I would even consider a promotion. And you have to master the job that you're in, both the execution of the job and the strategy of that job. And if you can do both of those things well, then what's going to happen is you get to audition for the next job. And so what I do is we have them practice doing the other job for 90 days. And so they get some projects and get some tasks. And it depends on what the shift is, but it often comes with like they get paid for that 90 days for doing that job. But it's very clear. And I have them sign a document saying you have not been promoted and this promotion is not guaranteed. And there are times where that works really well, like having them do a trial run to practice doing the job to make sure it's a fit for them and a fit for the company. And sometimes like they do it for 90 days and I feel like they're doing a good job, but I'm not ready to promote them yet. Like I'm not convinced they can continue to do it. So I have them do another 90 days so that they get more training and more practice before they get officially promoted. So sometimes you just got to really slow it down. Okay. So I would say that is the biggest mistake that I have made in my business. And I mean, I've made a ton of mistakes. I've made bad investments. I've lost money. I've, screwed up work in the early days that I was delivering to clients. I've mid every mistake that there is. And the key is like being okay with making mistakes and forgiving yourself, learning from it, make it right with the client. If you did the client wrong, make it right with them and then literally move on with your life. Okay. It is not the end of the world. Everyone makes mistakes. You are allowed to make mistakes in business as well. So do not let the world tell you otherwise. Okay. If you want to learn how to coach like me, let me tell you, I have an opportunity for you. The Hello 7 Coach Certification is an opportunity for you to gain coaching skills and learn how to coach just like me. I actually do all kinds of business training. You're going to do practice coaching in there. You're going to get weekly classes and you get a group coaching call with me every single month, all as part of the program, all designed to help you become an exceptional business coach. Graduates from our program have quit their jobs, 10x their investment, and generated $20,000 a month consistently. These are the kinds of results that are available to you if you choose to enroll in this program. The coaching industry waits for no one. If you are ready to become a certified coach, this is your moment. Our next cohort starts soon and spots are limited. Don't miss this opportunity to start a new career and start transforming lives. Head to hello7.co/coach to learn more and start today. If you had the opportunity to start over, what changes would you make? Okay. So you're asking me like, how would I do things differently? What would business look like for me? All right. So My main two things that I would do differently if I were to start over today, I would go a whole lot faster. I would stop second guessing myself. I would stop asking everyone for their opinion when I already know what I want to do. I would stop just living in fear and I would just go fast. Just do it. Just do it and trust yourself to work it out and figure it out. Okay. So that is one thing. I would go faster. And the other thing is I would just trust myself and my ideas. You know, there have been times in business where I put other people's opinions above my own or other people's ideas above my own. And I feel like almost every time I did that, it was a mistake. Does that mean I never take advice? No, of course. I have coaches, I have consultants, I have people that I work with that advise me, and I need their advice. But when I have a strong inkling and a strong feeling about what I want to do, and I allow somebody else's ideas or opinion to stop me from doing it, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So trust yourself, trust your ideas, trust that you are good enough, and trust that your ideas are good enough. And that is going to take you so much further, so much faster. Okay. Your ideas are unique. Your ideas are good. You know yourself. You know your people, your audience, people who are like you better than other people will. Right. And so trust your ideas and go faster. Stop second guessing. Jump off that cliff. Right. Not literally, of course. Jump off that metaphorical cliff and make it happen. Okay. Do the thing. And the other thing too is like, just because you go faster does not mean that you are now devoid of ever having made a mistake. You will still make mistakes, but the difference will be that you will learn from them. And the faster you learn, the faster you can apply the learnings, right, to the next iteration. That's all entrepreneurship is a series of tests. You try things. Oh, that didn't work, but I learned something. Okay, now I'm gonna apply the learnings and try again. Okay, now I learned another thing. It worked a little bit better, but it could be even better. So the third iteration, now I'm going to try something else. I'm on my, 10,708 iteration at this point. Okay. That's what entrepreneurship is. So there's a part 2 to that question, which is many people often mention seeking help earlier. So beyond asking for assistance sooner, what other approaches or strategies would you consider adjusting? No, I wouldn't ask for help sooner. That is not, I know that's like the common answer that people give. That ain't it. I would actually stop asking for help. No, you should definitely ask for help, but you should also trust yourself and do the things you say you want to do. And then also just do them quickly, right? The more immediate action you can take, the more likely that you are going to get results, right? And the more often that you're going to get results. So that's what I would do differently. And honestly, my journey has been varied. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've had a ton of wins, but I have really had this attitude of I am going to win, and I know I'm going to win because I plan on not stopping until I do. Next question. Okay. I want to get 1,000 leads a month as you suggested. What is your favorite strategy? Okay. Let me tell you my favorite strategy for getting 1,000 leads. My favorite strategy is the one you will do consistently. Okay. The strategy you will show up and do day in and day out consistently over weeks and months is the strategy that you need to do. Okay. Forget about, vlogging is hot or blogs are back or it's all about TikTok. None of that matters. All that matters is that you show up consistently. So I highly recommend that you choose a medium and you choose a platform and you just show up every single day. So if you love video, if you love writing, if you love audio, choose the format that you love to communicate in and then choose a platform to communicate in that way and just show up every day. Challenge yourself to do that. And that's what's going to get you the best results. Okay. And I want you to ask yourself 2 important questions. All right. This is going to help you to get these 1,000 leads that you want for your business. Ask yourself, why do I deserve 1,000 people's attention? Why do I deserve 1,000 people's attention? And if you feel like you don't currently deserve 1,000 people's attention or you don't have an answer to that question, ask yourself, how can I become someone that is deserving of 1,000 people's attention? Okay. Now, how do you become someone who is worthy of people's attention? Be someone who is helping people. What are you doing to help? What are you doing to serve? Why should these people give you their attention, right? You got to answer that question, because that is what's going to help you create content and create things that people want to watch, people want to consume, people want to subscribe, right? Because you are adding value to their life. You're doing something that serves them. You're teaching them something they didn't know, or you're entertaining them, or you're showing them something cool, right? But like, think about what you can do to be deserving of people's attention, and then go do it consistently for at least 90 days. And I guarantee you, you're going to start to see the leads rolling in. Okay. But it's about us. People are not going to show up for us until we show up. So if you're not showing up, do not expect anybody else to show up either. We have 2 more questions left, and they're good ones too. Okay. So this question is, how do I cultivate and nurture friendships that encourage advancement and growth? Okay. So I love this. Here's the key. Be the type of friend that you want to have. So if you want to be having amazing conversations about business, career growth, making money, making investments, health, like improving your life in whatever ways that you want to do that, you need to be that friend first. So think about the people that are in your life right now. Who are some people that are in your life right now, or who were in your life in the past, who you wish you could reconnect with, who you wish you would have been a better friend to, who you would love to hang out with again? Call those people up and have an interesting conversation. Ask them what they're working on right now. Ask them how you can support them in what they're working on. Ask them, how they are working on their own personal growth right now, right? Ask them what's going on in their life. Be the kind of friend that you want to have. And then you're going to start to attract more of those kinds of friends. Okay. So look at your own friend list right now, your own community right now, and think about who is in your community that you could say, hey, would you like to go out for coffee? I'd love to catch up and just hear more about what you're working on lately. People love to talk about the projects that they're working on. So that is a great way for you to show up as a friend and just create that nurturing environment where you're having conversations about your own, both of your desires to grow and advance and, see your ambitions come to life. Okay. Now, if you feel like you don't have those kinds of people in your life right now, go to conferences. Okay. Go to conferences, go to live events, go to places where the people that you want to hang out with are. All right. These events are where you're going to meet so many people. Like, I went to a retreat really early in my entrepreneurship. I literally put it on a credit card because I really wanted to meet other people, and I wanted to learn, and I wanted to grow my business. And I learned about this amazing coach, and she was hosting this event, and I really wanted to go. So I just bet on myself and I went. Those people wound up being dear friends. They're mentioned in my book. They've referred me places. I've moved to new cities because of some of those friendships. They referred me to clients. They, referred me for speaking gigs. We've helped each other in 1,000 ways over the years. And those friendships were so valuable to me. And they never would have happened if I wouldn't have taken the leap and gone to that event years ago. So I highly encourage you to get in the rooms, okay? Get in the rooms where you can meet people. It's so much easier to network in those spaces, right? Like, it might be hard to talk to a best-selling author or a well-known speaker or a super amazing entrepreneur or even celebrity in a lot of other settings. But when you're in the same room at the same time, you're just 2 humans, and there's opportunity to connect. And, don't use people and don't connect for the sole purpose of getting something from them. But if you show up in those events and in those spaces as yourself and as someone who's friendly and looking for new friendships, you're going to find great people to connect with. Okay. So I highly recommend that you go to events, and one of them is coming up. ROI the Millionaire Summit is happening in January 15th to the 17th. You should come to that event, because that is a great way for you to meet people. I mean, literally so many business besties have been created at that event. And I've had clients of mine become dear friends with some of the speakers at the event just because they met at the event, right? They were in the same room, they connected, and now they're friends, right? Business partnerships have come out of that event. And I've seen, people hiring each other, just all kinds of amazing opportunity that comes when you are in the room. So there's so much amazing things that we can do online, and I'm so grateful for these tools, but there are certain things that it just does not get better than in-person connection. So I highly encourage you to join us for ROI. There's various different ticket levels. So if you go to hello7.co/ROI, check out all the details and get your ticket, because that is where you're going to meet some of your business besties. And the kinds of people who are coming to that kind of event are the exact kind of people who want to talk ambition and want to share business plans and want to network with you and want to have these kinds of conversations and friendships. Okay. All righty. It is time for our last question. All right. I do not know if I successfully have answered all of these questions in 45 minutes, but you know what I have done? I've answered them. Okay. So I can't promise you time. All right. But I can promise you answers. And that's what you've got. All right. So the last question is a really great question. It's a fun question. I am 55. How do I embark on this transformation without feeling too old? Decide you're not too old, my friend. 55, that's young. And listen, I don't care if you're 78 or 92. No matter how old you are, you're alive. So be alive, right? Live, live to the fullest. Release this idea that because you are older, you don't have to, that because you are older, that you have to just like, I don't know what, sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day, or I don't know, go to bed at 6 p.m. I don't know what it is, right? Like we have this culture in this country that when you get older, you just have to like go somewhere and slowly like disappear. Absolutely not. I will be living my very best life until the day I die. That is my plan. Okay. And I hope that's your plan too. So I encourage you to understand that age is just a number, and do not let how old you are stop you from going after your dreams. No matter how old you are here. That is a wrap. We did it. I hope you enjoyed getting the answers to your questions, and I can't wait. We'll do another Ask Me Anything real soon. And remember, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, share it with as many people as possible. Our goal is to grow it to 100,000 subscribers. And I'm so excited to see if we can do it before December 31st. That is very ambitious, but you know what? I'm an ambitious girl. Okay. That's a wrap, y'all. Talk soon. Bye. All right, y'all. That's a wrap for today. I hope you're fired up and ready to make some serious moves. Remember, you've got the power to earn more, work less, and build a life that's rich in every way. But none of that happens without action. So get out there, make it happen, and keep pushing for those $1 million moves. And listen, if today's episode lit a fire under you, hit that subscribe button, drop a review, and share this with your crew. Let's spread this message far and wide and keep leveling up together. Until next time, keep it real and keep it rich.
You want to make more money? You are in the right place. Welcome to the Hello 7 podcast. That's 7 as in 7 figures. I'm your host, Rachel Rodgers.